Good afternoon and welcome to Johnson Haygood Stadium this Saturday. It'd be November 9th. The Citadel will host Chattanooga for homecoming here at Johnson Haygood. That is a 2 o'clock kick. We'll have Coach Drayton to answer any questions. Coach?
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. First of all, I want to say thank you to Jeff Hartzell, sports editor of the South's oldest daily newspaper. Jeff is an icon in the Low Country, synonymous with all things Low Country. Since I've been in high school, I've known who he is and had a great relationship. So happy retirement to Jeff. Also, want to say good luck to Ed Conroy tonight in Citadel basketball as they face Charleston's own Earl Grant, former Citadel assistant coach and the leader of the Boston College Eagles. And then congrats to our wrestling team. Big weekend. They had a great performance at the battle at the Citadel. 3 first-place finishes, 2 second-place finishes, and a third-place finish. Man, it was a big weekend. And last but not least, thank you to our fans that came out to the Sanford game on Senior Day. We were able to honor 25 young men in our program, also including 1 student coach, 1 student athletic trainer, and 3 student video/filmers. So a big weekend, last 2 weeks for Citadel Athletics, and I'll take any questions at this time.
Coach, good to see you again. A, how was the bye week? And then B, what did y'all get done during the bye week?
Yeah, first of all, it's good to be seen, right, in this profession. I had a few buddies that actually was relieved of their duties today in the NFL. So, it's real. It's real, and this is how we pay our bills. So the bye week was good. It was refreshing. A lot of club soccer. I got the opportunity to watch my daughter play and be a daddy. That's important to me. So that part was really good. We did a lot of scouts, self-studies, a lot of percentage-based research to try to take a look at some of the things that we're doing so we can make some tweaks for the final 3 weeks of the season. Big time for us as we enter into this last quarter of the season.
I know you didn't have any control over when the bye felt or was in the season. I guess having 2 wins going into the bye, would you have preferred to play last week, or how do you view that?
I would have preferred to play last week. We had momentum going. Things were going good for us. But if you traditionally look at the Citadel, because I told you I'm very pragmatic based, do your study on this. All Citadel sports, normally that 3rd win is when we lose. It's hard to win 3 in a row here at the Citadel.
What games did you watch this weekend?
What games did I watch this weekend? Well, I watched almost every pro game, especially where I have friends who are coaching in the pros. I watched all of their games. I watched the Clemson game, of course, watched South Carolina. Anybody that has ties to our state or people where I have friends. I watched the West Georgia game because of Joel Taylor. It was a lot to a little. Really enjoyed the South Carolina State game. It was a great weekend to be a football fan.
When y'all approach, so after a bye week this week, do you start this week like a normal week, or was it like 2-week prep for Chattanooga? How do y'all do that?
Yeah, so one of the things we do during a bye week, I put the fun back in football for those who may have lost their way, because being a collegiate athlete is tough. So we did a lot of things that was fun, had a lot of fun competitions, but we did start with UTC prep. I spent 20 minutes a day on UTC prep. This past Sunday is what I call a bonus Sunday. We were able to do some things that we don't typically do on a Sunday, having a bye week, so we were able to get a jump ahead from that standpoint. Our guys feel good. We're fresh. We're healthy. So it should be fun as we attack this last quarter of the season.
So watching the Western Carolina game for Chattanooga, what did you see from them? It looked like both of them threw the ball a lot, put up a lot of points.
Yeah, Western Carolina had 98 snaps on offense. It's amazing how fast they're snapping the ball. The one thing I will tell you about Chatty, they were red hot going into that game. They had just won 5 straight, but they were without the services of their quarterback, transfer from UCLA, Chase Archipus. Really, really good player. So they didn't have his services. He had a shoulder injury. I'm almost certain he'll be back for our game. It just works out that way for us. But Ric Flair said it best. In order to be the best, you have to beat the best. So we wouldn't have it any other way. But I saw more of the same out of Chatty's offense. Okay, against Portland State, they put up 567 yards of offense. And you look at those wins from ETSU all the way through, they're averaging 400-plus yards of offense. So this is a team that can go. And they do it through the quarterback, like I mentioned earlier, but they also do it in the run game. So we're going to have to be really, really good at stopping their split zone, their inside and outside zone. We'll have to stop the quarterback scramble on conversion downs because he can do it with his feet as well as his arm. And then if we are lucky enough to get him in 3rd and long, we have to condense the rush lanes. And then their defense is lights out. They have 15 interceptions on the year. They have 3 DBs that may have the opportunity to play on Sunday. Their interior defensive line, 2 seniors, they are the real deal. They'll be 2 of the best that we've faced all year. So this is a tall, tall task. Once again, yes, they match up in some places where we're young, but our puppies are trying their best to grow into Bulldogs.
What phase are y'all entering for the final third of the season?
Yes, this is what we call our uplift phase. And uplift is simply about doing it for someone else, doing it for your buddy, helping the next person in our organization, not just on the football field, but in life as well, too.
When you look at that Samford game, I mean, what is it something that you could in film realize it just clicked that wow, this really worked there in the second half?
Well, it went back to our original blueprint that we go into each game. We were able to start fast in 2 of the 3 phases on defense and in special teams. That middle 8 of the game, we were able to win that, and then we were able to finish. One thing that is our goal offensively, because we've pretty much been in every game we've played this year going into the 4th quarter. So our thing now is to score more points in the 4th quarter, win the 4th quarter. If you go back and you look at our games, if we're able to do that, we're standing here undefeated. Now, I know ifs and buts, everybody knows that saying, but we are who your record is right now. So we'll just close ranks, keep marching, and find a way to win these next 3 games.
What kind of soccer dad are you?
Quiet. I don't say much. I just watch and make comments to myself, kind of take notes. And then when she's ready to talk about it, I learned the hard way. I don't talk to her about it immediately after the game because I tell you what, she's a feisty one, and she doesn't like losing. I can tell you that.
Thank you. After the Samford game, just where did you see the team's confidence? Do you think they've kept that confidence level up? Did that help boost it?
Yes, it definitely, after the Samford game, getting a win like that in the fashion that we did is very important for the overarching theme of our program, very important for the culture of our program and what we're trying to build. We may years from now turn back and look at the VMI and the Samford game this year and say that was the catalyst that got this ship going.
Talk a little bit about Cooper Wallace and what he's kind of brought to the program. You've been around him now for a couple of years.
Yeah, I love Cooper Wallace. He is a consummate professional. I tease him a lot in the summertime. He has this long, beautiful hair. I call him Goldilocks. His beautiful, beautiful hair. And he's meticulous about everything he does, from his studies to his clothes, to his hair, to everything he does in a high fashion, and he's very detail oriented about it. So it'll be tough to see guys like that go. Of those 25 seniors that we recognized, some of them have the ability to come back. There's some that are seniors in the core, some that have graduated, but because of COVID, they have additional year of eligibility. So we're working through some of that because these young men, and it's the beauty about being a Citadel athlete, they have job offers that's $80,000 and $90,000 coming out of school, and man, who wouldn't take that? That's a tough decision for a young man.
Oh, Cooper has a year?
Cooper doesn't, but it led
Okay.
into that
Yeah.
conversation because we do have guys who fit that bill.
Coach, we appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
All right.
Sounds like you got to get $90,000 NIL off.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, I neglected to say this is homecoming, right? And homecoming is one of the biggest events on our campus. We're roughly about 400 tickets from having a sellout. So whatever we have to do out there, Citadel faithful, let's go ahead and get this sellout. It'll be our first sellout in a long, long time.
You're class of 98.
Yes, class of 98, yes.
I mean, you obviously know a lot of people coming back on Friday.
Yes, there's a lot of people coming back for this game because it is homecoming. It's a special, special time on this campus.
Are these weekends hard for you just to manage, like balancing everyone texting you, blowing you up? Like, would you?
No, that's a great question. Yes and no. I know where my bread is buttered. If I don't win football games, they're not going to be texting, and I'm not going to be here for them to come back and celebrate with. So my true friends, my good friends who know me and understand the profession, they leave me alone until after the game.
We'll be sure to do that this Saturday.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Just real fast, we have a special addition to today's press conference. Our head wrestling coach, we hosted the Battle at the Citadel yesterday, was very successful. I'll let him expound on that. And then this Friday, we have the inaugural Throwdown in the Yorktown. We will face both Virginia and Army on the USS Yorktown in the Charleston Harbor. And Coach will talk more about that going into, that's our second and third contest of the year. Coach?
How does this opportunity kind of come about?
So there we have a wrestling official, Neil Collins, who actually sits on the board of the Yorktown, and he brought this idea up, I think like 3-4 years ago when I first took the job at the Citadel. He said, "Hey, would you be interested in potentially wrestling a match on the Yorktown if we could do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." That's like what an idea. And so it took 3 or 4 years to come to fruition, but a lot of the credit goes to Neil and the people he's working with.
So what will it logistically look like? Is it just one mat, several mats? Like, will there be stands? Like, how does this all logistically look?
Yeah, so there's 3 mats, and there's 8 teams competing. We'll be on the center mat both times. There's 4 Division I teams. They'll all be on the center mat. It'll be us, West Point, UVA, and Gardner Webb. And then there's 2 women's teams, and then there's 2 Division II teams. And so all 3 mats will be on the flight deck of the Yorktown as long as we get good weather. And there'll be, I think they have chairs, rows of chairs set up on both sides of the mats right now. They're already trying to plan next year, and I think it'll just keep getting bigger as long as this goes off,
Going off that, what can you say about the spotlight this could bring to collegiate wrestling?
Yeah, I think that's what this is all about. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. I think it's a huge opportunity for our program to showcase South Carolina wrestling. The 2 Division II teams are South Carolina teams. One of the women's teams is South Carolina team. Obviously, that's what, hopefully we capture as much attention as possible. They sold out the tickets. We didn't. They did in 4 days. I mean, our wait list is crazy. So I think it's exciting. I think this is going to really showcase our sport in a positive light and give our kids, most importantly, give our kids at the Citadel an opportunity to compete against some awesome competition.
wrestling?
So the first match is at 5 p.m. and then, we wrestle the University of Virginia at 5 p.m. As soon as that match ends, we'll go right into we'll wrestle West Point.
Sounds like y'all had a successful was it Sunday? Yesterday? That was yesterday. What are you taking away from yesterday, and what are you hoping to carry over into this Friday?
Great question. So I think the first weekend is where you learn the most about your team, and so we just, we've been at it all morning, just kind of breaking down film and really trying to see the things in practice that went well, and then the things we're missing on. And so, you want to get into the X's and O's of it. We got to start returning guys, and we got to score at the end of periods and close out matches. I thought our effort was super high, but we were a little sloppy in the tactics, and those are going to be really, really important this Friday.
Y'all finished second?
Yep.
Okay. And it sounds like y'all have, I think, a handful of local guys, especially freshmen, right, from Somerville, Mount Pleasant area. Have any of them made impacts? Are they starting? Is that what y'all call it, starting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have two South Carolina natives that start for us. Pat Brophy at 197. He's from Chapin High School. And then Thomas Snipes is from Hillcrest. And then, we've got, I think, about 60% of our roster or 50% of our roster is South Carolina kids. That's something that's a huge point of pride for our program, is that we try to keep the best kids in state, and we develop them. That's really that's what we do. We're going to continue to do that.
Anything you have to worry about, or think about element-wise? You think about wind, you think about sun, do you think about sunset? Obviously there are elements. We learned that 12 years ago with the basketball game up there. Do you think about anything element-wise for this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what's on everybody's mind. I know he's got he's bought a ton of there's going to be huge tunnel fans. We've got tunnel fans, we've got dry mops, we've got a crew of volunteers to try to keep those mats dry. I think depending on the weather conditions, that's where it'll be, we'll make or break our event. They've done events like this on aircraft carriers on the West Coast, nothing on the East Coast. They did run a youth wrestling tournament on the Yorktown at some point. There's kids in my program who wrestled on that ship when they were little kids, and that event worked out well. So, this will be the first year they do it, so we're all kind of hoping it goes well.
Have you led an outdoor match before?
Our inter-squad
Okay.
scrimmage was outdoors this year.
Okay.
It was a little earlier in the day, and we had no issues. We wrestled out at Somerville High School my first year. We wrestled Presbyterian out on their football field. And so, there's been a lot of outdoor matches, especially the last 10 years or so. We got wrestling programs wrestling in football stadiums, and there's a bid to put the NCAA tournament in a football stadium, and so it can be done. So hopefully it goes well this Friday.
If there is weather, do you move it in here to McAllister, or do you go somehow inside the Yorktown?
We'll go inside the Yorktown. So we have the whole ship. So it's on the flight deck. If it rains, we'll be inside, and that's why it's such limited capacity.
Gotcha.
But it's going to go off one way or the other. I guess, if there was a hurricane, that would.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? So. Yeah. Knock on wood.
Coach, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.